Good morning, my workplace warriors. Bring your coffee and sit with me because today we're talking about a question that can quietly follow you home. Is my workplace toxic or am I the problem? You feel that something is wrong, but you cannot always pinpoint it or prove it. The rules seem different depending on who is involved. Other people are given understanding, flexibility, and room for mistakes. But when you need the same thing, somebody notices. You being asking yourself, am I too sensitive? Am I being difficult? Why does my boss treat me differently? Should I just work harder? Over time, the workplace does not only affect your confidence in your job, it can affect your ability to trust your own experience. Welcome to episode 5 of Surviving the Workplace. Is my workplace toxic? A toxic workplace does not only make your job difficult, it can slowly make you believe that you are the difficult one. You may enter the role feeling capable. Months later, you question every decision. You reread every email before sending. You become frightened of making even smallest of mistakes. You apologize before asking a reasonable question. You stop offering ideas because staying quiet feels safer. Toxic is a strong word though. Not every stressful week, disagreement, or difficult colleague means that the whole workplace is toxic. The important thing is to notice the pattern. What keeps happening? Are the expectations clear? Are the rules applied fairly? Can you raise a concern without being punished? Do conversations leave you with clarity or make you doubt yourself even more? And the deepest question may be, who am I becoming inside this workplace? Is every workplace conflict toxic? A difficult conversation can help people understand each other. An unhealthy pattern leaves one person holding all the blame. Conflict happens at work. People disagree. Managers give feedback. Employees make mistakes. A healthy workplace is not a workplace without problems. It is a workplace where problems can be discussed. People can ask questions. Expectations can be explained. Someone can say, I misunderstood. I handled that badly. Let's put it right. In an unhealthy workplace, the same problems repeat. Questions are treated like challenges. Rules change depending on who is involved. One person is allowed to make mistakes while another is punished. The issue is not simply whether conflict happens, the issue is whether honesty, fairness, and repair are possible afterwards. Why am I blaming myself at work? Self-blame can make an unfair workplace feel easier to control. If everything is your fault, you can keep trying to fix it. You can work harder, speak more carefully, ask for less, become easier to manage. Self-blame is painful, but it can offer you hope. If I change enough, maybe this will stop. The alternative may feel more frightening. If the environment is unhealthy, you may have to accept that you cannot fix it alone. You may need to set a boundary, ask for support, move teams, or begin imagining a life beyond this workplace. So your mind returns to, what am I doing wrong? A more useful question may be, what genuinely belongs to me, and what am I carrying because blaming myself feels safer than facing the truth? Are there double standards at work? When a new rule appears immediately after you need flexibility, but nobody else is expected to follow it, it can feel painfully personal. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Phoenix. Phoenix worked in a busy office where colleagues and managers regularly attended personal and medical appointments during working hours. The time was treated as paid time. Nobody appeared concerned. Then Phoenix needed to leave 15 minutes early or so for a medical appointment. They informed the right person and attended the appointment. The following day, everyone received an email from the management team. The email said that all appointments, including medical appointments, must now be booked outside working hours. Phoenix immediately felt that the email was directed at them. Nobody named them, but the timing made them feel exposed. They began asking themselves, have I caused a problem? Is everyone going to know this is about me? Was I wrong attending the appointment? But what made the situation even more confusing was the colleagues and managers continued attending their own appointments during working hours and continued treating the same time as paid. The new rule seemed to exist when applied to Phoenix, but disappear when it applied to everyone else. Phoenix could not prove that the email had been written because of them, but they could see that the rule was not being applied equally. That is what a double standard can do. It makes you question your behavior instead of asking why the same behavior is accepted in everyone else. Why are the rules different for me? When everybody else receives breathing space but your efficiency earns you more work, being capable can begin to feel like punishment. Let me tell you about someone else. I'll call him David. When David's colleagues finished their working tasks, They would have a free time to browse online shops, to look at holidays, to have a nice long chat, to play a game on the mobile phone, and nobody seemed concerned. But when David had 5 minutes, somebody found another task for him. His availability was noticed immediately. His hard work never created breathing space. It simply created more work. Other people's spare time belonged to them. David's spare time appeared to belong to the workplace. After a while, David became exhausted and he began slowing down. Not because he was lazy, but because working efficiently had taught the workplace that it could always take more from him. Then David felt guilty for slowing down. This is what unfair treatment can do. It can turn a hard-working person into someone who feels they must hide their ability simply to protect their energy. Am I being singled out at work? If your mistakes are always noticed while other people's mistakes disappear, you may be seeing a pattern, not imagining a problem. Maybe your timekeeping is checked more closely, your work is questioned more often, you are left out of important information and then criticized for not knowing it. Other people are offered help. You are expected to cope alone. One incident may have an ordinary explanation, but repeated differences deserve to be taken seriously. Write down what happens. Record the date, what was said, who was present, how similar situations were handled for other people. It is not about building a dramatic case against everyone. It is about helping yourself see clearly. When events are written down, it becomes harder to dismiss your experience with maybe I'm imagining it, maybe I'm overreacting, maybe it wasn't that bad. Your memory deserves support too. Are they moving the goalposts at work? You meet the expectation, but the definition of success changes before you are allowed to feel secure. You are told to work faster, you work faster. Then you're criticized for not being detailed enough. You become more careful. Now you're told that you're too slow. You take initiative. You're told that you should have asked. Next time you ask, you're told that you need to be more independent. You keep changing your behavior, but the criticism remains. Clear feedback helps you grow. Moving goalposts keep you anxious and trying. Ask simple, direct questions. What exactly is expected? What task is the priority? How will success be measured? Can we confirm what we have agreed in writing? You are not being difficult. You are asking for a target that does not move every time you reach it. Am I being gaslit at work? When your experience is repeatedly denied, you may begin questioning your own memory instead of questioning what is happening. Gaslighting is a powerful term, so it should be used carefully. One misunderstanding is not automatically gaslighting. People can remember events differently. The concern is a repeated pattern that leaves you doubting your ability to recognize reality. You may hear, "We never agreed to that." You are imagining the tone. "Nobody else has a problem." You always misunderstand. You're too sensitive. Eventually, you begin keeping messages not simply for work, but to reassure yourself that the conversation really happened. Do not rush to diagnose the person. Look at what keeps happening. Can they accept that they made a mistake? Can they listen to your experience? Can two different views exist in the same conversation? Or do you always leave feeling foolish or noticing a contradiction? Why do meetings leave me confused? If you enter a meeting with one concern but leave defending your entire personality, the conversation has moved away from the real issue. You enter the meeting to discuss your workload. Soon, the conversation is about your tone, your attitude, a mistake from a month ago, the fact that you did not appear enthusiastic enough. Your original question disappears, and somehow you leave with even more tasks, and you leave thinking, what just happened? Then you spend hours planning how you could have explained yourself better before the next meeting. Write down your main question. If the conversation moves away from it, say, "I understand the point, and that may be, but I still need an answer to my original question, which is," and then you read the question. After the meeting, send a calm summary to what was agreed. You are not causing trouble, you are protecting clarity in a situation that keeps making you question yourself. Why do I work harder in a toxic workplace? When a workplace makes you feel insecure, you may try to earn safety by giving even more of yourself. You stay later, take on extra work, stop asking for help, try to become impossible to criticize. Every unfair moment makes you work harder. Part of you believes, if I do enough, they will finally see my value. But unfair treatment does not always stop when you work harder. Sometimes your extra effort simply becomes the new expectation. Phoenix's compliance did not create equal treatment. David's efficiency did not earn him breathing space. It made both of them easier to rely on. You cannot always earn fairness from people who benefit when the treatment remains unequal. You should not have to become superhuman to receive ordinary respect. What can I do about a toxic workplace? When the workplace is part of the problem, You may need support from someone outside it. Start by writing down what happens. Keep relevant emails and record dates, conversations, and witnesses somewhere personal and secure. You may choose to speak with your manager or HR. Sometimes they can help, but remember that HR works for the organization and is not your independent advisor. Before sharing sensitive information, ask, who will see this information? Will my statement be shared? What happens after I raise the concern? You can also seek independent support, and here in UK you can talk to your union. There is ACAS organisation, Citizens Advice Bureau, or an employment solicitor. If work is affecting your health, speak with an appropriate healthcare professional. Please get advice before resigning suddenly, especially because some employment matters have short legal time limits. But what if you understand the problem and still freeze, apologize, keep overgiving, or feel absolutely petrified to ask a question or to protect yourself? That is where my private work can help. I cannot change your manager or workplace, but I can help you explore why disapproval feels dangerous, why you blame yourself, and why boundaries feel so difficult. Together, we look at what this pattern may be protecting so you can begin making your own decisions with greater clarity and self trust. If you recognize the pattern and are ready to change what is within your control, you can book a free clarity call. I'm always here to listen to you. Episode 5, Reflection on Toxic Workplaces. Today, we're separating honest self reflection from responsibility that does not belong to you. Take a piece of paper and let's complete these sentences. The workplace behavior troubling me is. The rule that seems different for me is. What I automatically blame myself for is. What I keep doing to prove my value is. What this is costing me is. The clarity or support I need is. Then ask yourself, if I stopped assuming that everything is my fault, what would I finally allow myself to see? You do not need to make a dramatic decision today. Begin with one honest answer. What do I take from episode 5 about toxic workplace? You can be empathetic without accepting a workplace where empathy travels in only one direction. You are allowed to notice double standards. You are allowed to question unfair treatment. You are allowed to need flexibility. You are allowed to have 5 free minutes without proving that you deserve them. You can reflect on your own behavior without taking responsibility for the entire workplace. You cannot repair an unhealthy culture by becoming easier to use. Before continuing with your day, let's do some grounding. Place both of your feet on the floor. Take a deep breath in and out and gently remind yourself, my empathy does not make my needs less important. Unequal treatment does not prove that I am the problem. I am allowed to trust what I notice. In the next episode, we will ask, why do I keep hoping my job will get better? We will explore promised promotions, delayed changes, and the workplace potential that keeps you waiting while the present continues to hurt. Please subscribe so you do not miss anything important in the Surviving the Workplace mini-series. For today, remember, you do not need to prove that a workplace is completely toxic before admitting that the way you are being treated is unhealthy for you. I'm sending you so much love and light. Speak soon.